welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for another edition of YBMcast. And today we are doing our tournament wrap-up show. Less Dave Penning. He had a previous engagement. Couldn't miss. So, Mitch Thomas with me from the hitting zone. How's it going, bud?
I'm doing well.
We just had his voice last week.
Now you get my face. I didn't cut my hair, man. We got a big game today, so I'm gonna trim up the beard and look professional today.
You do. You got a big one. Fort Zumwalt West, Timberland. We're gonna be out there today with GAC Game of the Week. It's gonna be a fun one. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, we are too. I think both teams are ready
and
to go.
got a pretty decent day for it.
Man, I walked outside. There's not a ton of wind, and it's been windy and weather, and it's just nice to have a decent day.
Right.
It is very comfortable.
Not going to be too hot, probably low 60s. It's going to be a fun one. We also, just to let you folks know, we got our GAC Baseball Showcase that we're going to be at out at Lindenwood. We got great matchups. Fort Zumwalt East is playing Christian. We got the nightcap there at 5:30. Liberty Winsville versus Holt. First time we get to see Holt. I'm looking forward to that. And then we got on Saturday Troy versus Oak Grove. And then to finish that off is Sullivan versus St. Charles West. So
Saturday's in jeopardy.
Yeah, I'm afraid of that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to put a damper on everything because that sounds like super exciting.
I saw the weather forecast.
It's wet this year.
Although we've gotten in quite a bit of baseball, and we're going to talk about that here because, Dave sent me some notes from the weekend and whatnot, and he said, they were battling the elements all weekend, but got everything in. So kudos to Game 7 as always for working through the weather.
The field crews, obviously.
I'm gonna put that straight off because Dave, when he sent me some notes from the weekend, he said, special thanks to Nick and all the parents. Nick does, and I'm trying. Oh, I know Nick's last name, and it's falling apart on me. He does. He's a director for Game 7. Does a lot of the stuff around here, and all the parents who helped get fields playable at Woodlands after mid-afternoon rain on Sunday. I love that. Thank you, parents. Thank you, Nick. Thank you for all the people that, want to just enjoy helping out instead of griping and complaining, getting out there and getting the fields ready to play.
Yeah, lacing up the boots, man. That's cool.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah, to get out there for sure. We were playing in Afton, and we got rained out real early. It hit us about 8 o'clock, 7:45, 7:30-ish. To 8:15, it rained really hard, and enough to rain us out down there in Afton. Some of the fields weren't even playable. By the time I got to Chesterfield, it was dry. Right. I mean, I'm not that far away, and I was like, man, come on. We had a good couple of days, or a good couple of games. We were 2-2 in bracket, and we still had a couple games left. This is softball. It was a 7-game guarantee, so we had a lot of softball left to play. But we missed out, and I saw that most of the baseball in the area got their weekend in.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. That to me is huge, man. When you're talking about the rain and really the Sunday was, although Sunday really the rain really didn't come in till later the afternoon. I mean, we had spot showers and things like that through the day, but the big heavy stuff didn't come down. It's like I don't think the heavy stuff's coming down for quite a while.
Man, it's looking at the skies, man. I was like, oh yeah, here it comes, and it's like, oh, it's not doing anything, and then here it came. When the sun was out, and it was raining in my backyard, and sun was out in my front yard, and it was interesting. But I got to spend the day painting. So I guess my significant other was happy that we got rained out. So I got some paint done. Got the bathroom finished in the hallway.
Got to paint. Lovely.
I'd rather coach.
Yeah.
She doesn't watch the show all the time, so.
I don't blame you. But hey, it is what it is. So look, folks, thanks for tuning in. Comment below. Hit that like button. That helps the algorithm, we think, if they haven't changed everything again. But as far as we know, they haven't. hit the like button, subscribe. We appreciate that. Appreciate you, but comment below. Talk a little bit about, if you're one of the parents at the Woodlands, we'd love to hear from you and give you a big shout out. We appreciate everybody there. That's awesome stuff, right?
That's it. That is.
And if you know the line from the movie, throw that in there as well.
Am I supposed to know this? Justin's looking at me like I'm supposed to
Yeah,
know.
I don't think the heavy stuff's coming down for quite a while.
You don't know that one? It's Caddyshack.
Oh,
You just,
man.
well, I guess maybe they didn't
I
hear.
know who Caddyshack is, but you guys do a really good job on
That
movies.
was part of the comment. Throw it in the boat. You guys did that.
Oh,
We blew it. That's okay.
well, they're fine. He can cut it.
Comment
He
below.
can cut it out.
Right.
Start over.
There you go. Anywho, we're going to get to some baseball here and talk a little bit about the weekend around the area, around Game 7 baseball. Man, they were all over the place again. And getting all these events in, I think, is quite an achievement. I mean, you look down here to, Cape Girardeau. They were in Branson. My goodness, let's get into this.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
That
Let's
was
start.
that was my best Tone Loc voice. Let's
Tone
do it.
Loc.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking
Kick it for the homies.
about? That was not your best Tone Loc.
Well, let's start over at Woodlands, man. They got that in. 8U machine pitch. Finished up in the championship game. Rawlings Tigers. Podolsky, if I'm butchering that, sorry, Coach, my bad. Beat the Midwest Rebels 10-3 in the championship game. Still pretty good. There's a lot of good stuff at the 8U level, and those were both the teams in pool play that were 3-0, so it kind of went that way. But there's a lot of 2-1 teams. Mo Gators, PBA, Missouri. They were both 2-1. Missouri Bombas 1-2 in pool play. So good stuff there. 9U. This all, and again, for clarity, if we do not say AAA major, these are AAA tournaments. Fair enough?
Yep.
That way we don't have to.
Well, I was
say
going
it
to
all the
ask
time.
at some point because I did last week too, even though
That's okay.
I should know
We
that.
want to make sure. It looks like the 9U championship did not get in. It was scheduled at 5 o'clock. That makes sense because, the rain came in about that time, heavy.
Yeah, and the
at that
Woodlands
point.
Woodlands doesn't hold rain very well.
No. But hey, you know what? The Midland Bandits, Coach Haynes' squad there went 2-0-1. St. Louis Nike Redbirds 2-1. Stingrays 1-2. PBA 0-2-1 there to kind of just some pool play there. 10U. We have a champion there. Gamers Blue. No, again, C&H. This is where that was. But in the championship game were the Rascals. And Chuck Roll Rouse. Chuck Rouse. Do you know Chuck Rouse?
I do. He's a BSN guy.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so we get apparel from him. Hazelwood Central.
Chuck Rouse.
Yeah, Hazelwood Central guy, I believe, actually. He's a North County guy.
Oh, okay. Very good. Very good.
Similar age.
Yeah, the Rascals, they kind of got a few teams. I think Coach Steven Lautzenheiser's kids play for the Rascals as well. He's a coach over at East, so got some good guys over there working that group. So they were scheduled to play in the championship. The Rascals had won their semifinal 12-2 over the Strikers, and Gamers Blue 5-4 over Max Rep Bats. So there you go. We'll get a little bit of information in there. 11U saw the St. Louis Spikes win their championship game. It was a 3 o'clock start. There you go. They got the fields in place to get that in. They took care of the St. Louis Nike Redbirds 10-0 in that championship game at the 11U.
Who is the coach of that Spikes group?
Let's take a look at that. That's interesting. Sure, we'll throw that up. St. Louis Spikes, that's Coach Andy Bosworth.
Okay. I was just curious because when I played adult baseball, I played for the St. Louis
Spikes.
And we tried to continue that name on in the youth, but it kind of dissipated. Still got the men's team together. They're still playing over there in the Montclair League, having a good time.
Oh, there you go. 12U AAA Major.
There we go.
There we go. Did not get that one finished. It looked like they got the first the first bracket play game, but we're not able to continue at Woodlands there. So that Gamers Gray had won 12-2 over the Rascals, and that's how it finished. So we don't really have a finisher there. The pool play, it ended with the St. Louis Prospects, Sepich 2-0, Midwest Mavericks coming up from Springfield 2-0. So they were at the top of the heap there. Rawlings Tigers, Bowshirt Squad was 1-1, and the Gamers Gray was 1-1. So that gives you a little bit there. 13U AA there. This is, of course, all at Woodlands. And didn't get the championship game at 5 o'clock, but they got some afternoon baseball. I mean, it was pretty close, right? Unless, they, as far as, those 5 o'clock games, and I think the rain started around, 6 o'clock? Pretty heavy.
Yeah, I mean, I was
Maybe
already
something
home
like
from the weekend, so I wasn't really paying attention to too much of the rain at that point. But I know that several of those teams, they got their games in early. If they were early, they got their championships in. It seemed like some of the older groups did not.
And if they got some of these in and they just didn't quite get it finished updating, sorry about that. I don't know for certain. I'd have to find, but usually they're pretty good about getting these things updated.
Yeah, so I saw several of the guys didn't get to finish out, and because they were posting about, I think they still got awarded.
Yeah.
Based on, I guess, pool play and
Pool
things
play
like
and stuff
that.
like that.
They still got awarded whoever was the champion of the event. So I saw some of those things happening, but and they were talking about not playing, and it was raining outside when they were taking the pictures.
Yeah. The Central Illinois Swing was in the championship game against the Red Bud Aces for that 13U. Red Bud had beat Missouri Redhawks 11-1, and St. Louis Illinois Swing 5-1 win over the Grind. So
2 Illinois teams coming over here.
Yeah, I love that. And then out at Bridgeton, I think we got a little bit of the same thing, although I think the Bridgeton got their stuff in because they had 3 o'clock championship games. We got 12U out at Bridgeton, the Troy Thunder, and I believe Troy Thunder, that's an Illinois group, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure.
I'm going to click on that, and I believe I'm correct in that. Yes, Troy, Illinois, Jared Morris. Yes. The Troy Thunder. And you know what's interesting here? They were the 6th seed, 1-1 in pool play, and ended up winning the championship. I love to see that stuff. And, I mean, this was a Thunder game. Troy Thunder beat St. Louis Naturals 15-14 in the championship game.
That's a lot of runs scored.
That is some run scores.
I wonder if there was much defense played.
It
doesn't sound like it.
It's either that or we're low on pitching.
Yeah.
Right?
Low on pitching. Usually, and it looks like a big bracket too, and so there's a lot of games that were played, between Saturday night and probably Sunday.
And you had to win 3 games on Sunday to come out of that. Everybody was bracketed into that. The Troy Thunder beat the U.S. Nationals 1-0.
Oh wow!
In that quarterfinal game, and then made a run to the championship.
Man, that's always tough. That's what I like about youth sports sometimes is how do you manage your pitching staff, on bracket or pool play to match up for bracket play, because you saw a 6 seed go ahead and take it down. Did they save their best arms for bracket play and when did they pitch them guys? Sometimes you can kind of predict the bracket a little bit, and obviously that U.S. National game, that should have been the finals.
Right.
That's a heck of a ball
Well,
game.
the St. Louis Naturals, both of those teams, you had those 3 teams there with the St. Louis Naturals because they were there in the championship. 15-14 was still, that's a good game. A lot of runs, but
it's exciting.
It is exciting. And
the heart gets to beating,
they came out of that top bracket beating the Max Rep Bats and the Midwest Rebels. I got to find out who this Max Rep Bats are. I had not heard of that before. Had you?
I have not. I know the name of the Bats, and we were in Afton for softball this past weekend, and I have actually seen some of those uniforms. And I'm not
St. Charles, Missouri.
Yeah, I'm not familiar if this is another small club that's coming in because obviously there's a couple of teams in there, and I actually saw a smaller, maybe 9-10 year group that was out there at Afton at some point. So
If you know who they are, please comment below.
Yeah,
we'd
please
love
do.
to hear about that.
That's the
a
thing
new
is
one.
we don't get to hear too much about the small, independent teams,
Right.
And then these kind of new things moving in, and obviously we're in the heart of the season, so we're seeing new teams, and I wasn't aware of them.
I wouldn't either, but
I mean, I'm in the St. Charles area, right? You would expect that I knew something, but I don't.
13U guys out at Bridgeton, also a 3:00 championship game. Midland Bandits Hewlett squad taking the championship 14-13. Another slugfest over the Southern Illinois Legends. I love to seeing these Illinois teams coming across the river. I know the Missouri teams have been going when Game 7 does that, so I really like that.
I just think that the tournaments in general are starting to create a little bit of rivalries, and not just because you're seeing that when we go over there, we're playing on turf. It's early; they have a bunch of turf over there, so us Missouri guys are going over there and playing against them. So it's building that little bit of border states fun.
Right.
This could lead to a border rivalry thing where it's Missouri, Illinois, or down the road for Game 7. So it's just neat to see because there is so many teams that every weekend it seems that it could be in a different pot. So there might be St. Louis teams going down to Branson, but they may be going to Kentucky, they may be going to Tennessee, they could be going north. You're having teams come north, come down, and it just shows that the competition is still strong for these age groups in Game 7 in this area, at least at that level.
Yeah,
at the AA level.
14U, the one that we're following quite a bit, one you're familiar with. Midwest Futures Coach Ettinger's squad, which is good. Culberson's 314 Apaches, the Edwardsville Spikes, and the Metro East Mavericks, all teams we've seen a little bit of, all finished 2-0 in pool play. There's a Jefferson County Independent, St. Louis Browns, Enforcers Baseball, Recruits Baseball, Coach Werner. Jackson Tribe Red come down. Gas House Baseball was in this one. The Moco Tribe.
Was that
it was Zegan.
Gas House team?
Yeah, that's what it says. And then the St. Louis Eagles. So looks like there was some pretty good ball played here. A lot of some pretty even scores throughout. Some big ones. Bracket play showed, though, some power here. The Metro East Mavericks lost to the Midwest Futures in the semifinal 14-0. And the Culberson's 314 Apaches won 10-0 over the Edwardsville Spikes. And then a really good championship game. This is what I like about it. I think there's some really good that Apaches beat the Futures 6-3 in the championship.
Oh, wow. That's a solid. I haven't seen that Futures team. I mean, I know the Futures because some of the Coach Horn has some kids that come through Timberland's program.
Yeah.
So I have some familiarity with Coach Horn and then that group.
Yeah.
In general, and so
his son Dominic's a good ball player.
He's a dude.
Yeah.
He's a fun kid too. High energy. So I got to coach him as a freshman. Last year at Timberland we had nothing but freshmen play freshman baseball. We did not have any sophomores come down. Sophomores, juniors. Our sophomores had played JV. They had no freshmen, no juniors, and then varsity had junior, seniors. So this year we called up a few to play JV, but Mr. Horn was a guy that I leaned on pretty routinely. He's going to be a dude.
Yeah,
he's only getting better with his age. So I'm excited to continue to watch that kid grow through summer and the rest of this high school season.
And just as we continue this, and we're doing our top award. We were in a little bit of a break. We did quite a bit at first. We're finishing up some high school stuff. 2 weeks from a week from this weekend, we're going to be back out. Mother's Day weekend, which will string a few weeks together where we'll be Mother's Day. Justin, help me out. I believe it's Mother's Day. Then Midland Baseball Invitational. We'll be out for that, and then the Armed Forces Day Classic. So 3 weeks in a row, we're going to be out having some fun, be out at Game 7 Baseball with the 14Us. We'll be live streaming some games.
I'm gonna miss you on one of those. I have the next 3 weekends in a row we play, so we'll see you Mother's Day and then the Midland Invitational. I'm excited because these are parks that I get to go back to from when I used to play as kids. So it's kind of fun to be just kind of going through that a little bit. For the next couple of weeks, the fields that we get the chance to play at. So I'm excited.
That's cool. Now, Dave and Dave were in Kentucky, and there's some pictures up on their Facebook page. If you can follow Game 7 at Game 7 Baseball on Facebook, there's some pictures up there. Swing for the Rings in Greenville, Kentucky at the Ray Jones Athletic Complex. The 10U group saw and this is what I'm like, the Southern Kentucky Sluggers, and I believe that's what SK would mean, Southern Kentucky, just as SI was Southern Illinois. So I'm guessing, but it sounds right.
Yeah. I mean, there's an SSK brand, but there's not two S's there.
Because there is then the SOKY Bulldogs, and I would say that's Southern Kentucky.
Could it be Southern Oklahoma?
I doubt it.
Well, it's SOK. It's better than.
But there's a Y at the end of that.
It's better than being SO.
So it's Southern Okie.
Southern Okie.
Yeah, Oh, well. We digress. The Southern Kentucky Sluggers beat the Southern Kentucky Bulldogs 8-2 in the championship game there. We saw the Paducah Storm in that one. Both those teams that were in the championship went 2-0 in pool play. They were at the top. I don't know what ODC, 10U Mavericks, 1-1, Mid-South Bullets, 1-1, Dingers.
That's what we do.
They were 1-1. Southern Smoke Baseball and Paducah Storm rounded that out. So good.
I'm looking at that pool play, and you saw that top team gave up 7 runs. I think that's pretty impressive. Yeah. I mean, granted, they did
at
not,
10U.
Yeah,
at 10U.
They didn't score too many either. But it looks like they obviously have the pitching and the defense, and I think that's impressive at the 10U level.
Yeah,
7 runs in 2 games.
I think so. You're at 10U. I mean, they scored, and they did score some runs because their run differential was 14.
Oh,
because they scored.
Sorry,
that's okay. Because they scored 15 in their first game, and then scored 16 in their second game.
Yeah, I completely missed the boat. I thought that was runs for, not run differential. I probably should wear my glasses when I'm trying to sneak a peek on your computer.
That's all right. We digress.
Again.
So 11U. Again, we're 11U. We're saying AAA. Southern Kentucky Bulldogs. So must be a good group. They were 2-0. Vet City Stingrays 2-0. And I'm saying this so we get a little view of the teams here. Vet City. I'm not sure what. I love that though. Vet City Stingrays. That just works, doesn't it?
Yeah. Grandpa probably sponsors them.
Yeah. I mean, back in my day, we were rolling in our Corvettes.
That's always one car I cannot. I would love to have, but I can't fit in.
Yeah. Anyway, the UC Tribe. I don't know what well, let's take a look at that. UC Morganfield, Kentucky. Morganfield, Kentucky. There you go. So we got the Southern Kentucky Bulldogs taking the championship in the 11U over the UC Tribe, 4-1. Good ball game there, 4-1 in the championship. So the UC Tribe had finished third in that pool there. So we got 12U at the Swing for the Rings. Owensboro Warriors 2-0. Southern Smoke Baseball 2-0 in that pool play with 3 teams at 1-1. Southern Indiana Outlaws, MC Mayhem, and the ODC Mavericks were there again. 6-2, 5-3, 10-6, 6-3, 8-9, 11-8. There was only one group there that got run ruled in that. Some really competitive games in that pool.
Again, looking at just trying to look at that runs against, for those teams, and you're just seeing that one. I think it was 5. Was it 5 for the?
Yeah, for that Owensboro Warriors, only gave up 5 runs.
It's like that goes just back to how you plan for the weekend. Like did they just go out there and do they have 5 dudes or? How do they manipulate their pitching staff to be able to go out and get themselves a couple of wins? I think that's what's interesting about baseball.
Yeah.
Is that you really, because it's not like softball where you have pitchers can throw 1 or 2 games a day and they come back tomorrow and throw 1 or 2 full games. You got to protect these athletes, and so you can't send a kid out there and have him go pitch 80, 65, 70 pitches and then turn around and throw them on a Sunday. So, or you shouldn't. And obviously, you see that just holding runners or holding people from scoring, and I just think that's really that's nice, man. Giving up 5 runs in 2 games in pool play says a lot about your group.
Well, the champions of that division were the out of Evansville, Indiana, the Southern Indiana Outlaws, who were third in the bracket there in the pool play, come back and won that championship game 11-6 over the Owensboro Warriors. So there you go. It looked pretty competitive through most of this tournament. And I think that was a good field there. Southern Indiana coming out on top in the overall, because they gave up 11 runs early on, and I think it was just in that one game. Where is it at? Boom. That was 10. They lost to the Owensboro Warriors 5-3 in pool play. So they little revenge there, back to back there. Said we get you in the championship game.
Right. That's what happened with us in the Metro East team, that Metro East Mavericks,
the
14U age group. We played them 2-1 and they beat us, and when it mattered. And that's again going back to the little rivalry stuff on these teams playing, in several tournaments. I get excited about it. So
yeah. Well, we're going to finish up here with the Ballparks of America down in Branson, Best of the Midwest Turf. We saw some really good baseball down there. Again, the Sticks Maggard. I don't know if that's Maggard. 2-0. Bentonville Bombers 2-0. Midwest Mavericks 2-0 down there. And then 2 teams at 1-1. Prospects Small and Perfect Timing 9U Red. Rounded out that in the division there as far as pool play, and there's a few teams 0-2. But Sticks Maggard took down the Midwest Mavericks 8-6 in the championship game. And again, I'll go back to this. We talk about 9U baseball, right? It's 9U baseball still. Come on. Not that there aren't good teams and our kids can play, but you get a championship game at 8-6. That's really good.
That had to be fun. I just always look, there's a play that'll identify a game. Some play in the game, and you have to be locked in. And to have 9-year-old kids locked in like this to play 4 or 5 innings or whatever they may have gotten in that game, that's a huge victory, and it just shows that the growth of our youth is going to be exciting. As long as they stay, focused.
Yeah, because it's tough. Because up to that, you saw where these teams got beat. There were bigger scores, probably one bad inning, couple of mistakes, some hits. Kids, 9U kids, they go,
it ain't
it's
just
true.
9U. It ain't 9U. It happened in the big leagues last night with the St. Louis Cardinals. So,
boy, yeah.
It happens at every level.
We digress.
We're over 3.
Oh,
that's
mercy.
the 3rd time you've said that today.
I didn't want to get into that one. 11U, 13 teams in this tournament. CNBA. I got to find out where those folks are from. Kearney, Nebraska. Central Nebraska Baseball Association. Something like that, maybe. Could be. 11U finished 2-0. Applied Velocity Storm. I'm just spitballing.
I'm guessing.
But that's all the way up from Nebraska, Kearney, Nebraska. That's a good trip. Applied Velocity Storm, and I believe they were out of, when we looked, Oklahoma, Sapulpa. No, Greenbrier, Arkansas. That's right. Dave sent me that earlier. Greenbrier, Coach Ruby. Missouri Freedom, 2-0. Jackson Tribe went 1-0-1, and then you had quite a few teams there at 1-1. Stack Baseball, KC Smoke, KC Heat, St. Louis Mavericks, and the Eureka Wildcats were all 1-1, and 1-1, and the Missouri Titans were 0-1-1. A few teams finished out there at 0-2. Getting down into and again, here we go. That team out of Nebraska allowed 3 runs in 2 games in pool play, and Applied Velocity Storm 5 runs in 2 games. Jackson Tribe only allowed 7. Down here, the Missouri Titans at 0-1-1 only allowed 8. So, some good baseball there being played.
Yeah, that 0-1-1 does not do team justice.
I agree, because
that just goes to show you the wins and losses
sometimes can be, and you look at that, like we said, Jackson, who was that? That was Missouri Titans. They were playing. Oh, goodness. I'm trying to find it and locate it here.
They played that Nebraska team, lost 3-4.
3-4.
4-3, I should say. So.
4-3. Well, lost 4-3. Who else? I'm looking.
Up top, they tied.
Up top, they tied the Jackson Tribe 4-4. So, and the Jackson Tribe were 1-0-1. So think about that. And the Jackson Tribe were another team that only allowed 7 runs. So you're playing at the top there. Missouri Titans put themselves in a good position. Even with that, wow, it wasn't enough to get them out of pool play though into the championship bracket. But
well, that's tough.
The number 1 seed lost in the semifinals though to the Jackson Tribe. There you go. And that Jackson Tribe but that's what you're dealing with such a big bracket, with such a big pool. And the Jackson Tribe, which was 1-0-1, come back and they got themselves to the championship game, beating the number 1 seed, CNBA from Nebraska. Applied Velocity Storm, 2nd seed, took care of Missouri Freedom in a semifinal, then beat the Jackson Tribe for the championship 9-4. And as Dave sent me some notes, he said that Applied Velocity Storm, great team, good weekend. Chris Ruby said good people. Big shout out to those guys for winning that one.
Yeah.
That's 11U. And again, these are mostly AAA major teams in this.
What I like about these larger pools is that, like in softball, they'll just take the large pool and, right away you're playing tops, maybe the couple top seeds get buys, but, you're walking into a 12 seed might be playing a 4 seed or something like that, and you're getting one and done. At least what I'm noticing in the baseball side, and I'm not sure why they do it. Maybe Dave can answer this down the road, or that's a question on why baseball does it, in 2 different brackets. But I feel that it gives the opportunity for those lesser teams to play at their level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
And I'm assuming that's the reason why, because there's obviously, whether
Absolutely.
you're AA or major or, AAA major, you still have a quality of teams that are head and shoulders above everybody else. And so I'd hate to run into a bracket game and then just run into a buzzsaw.
Because that Missouri Titans played the top 2 teams from the championship bracket right down to it, but ended up losing in the silver bracket to the Eureka Wildcats, and the Eureka Wildcats won that championship. So you're not a bad baseball team. It's not that. It's just sometimes that weekend you didn't win enough in the pool to get to that top bracket.
Yeah, and that again, it goes back to the questions of what do you do as a coach when you're playing in these big brackets. Now, if you only have 4 or 5 teams, 6 teams, it's easy. You're not. I don't think they're going to separate the 2 brackets. But when you have maybe 8, 10 plus, they're absolutely going to have 2 different brackets. And then you're going to have your championship or your gold and your silver, whatever they want to call it. And you could be a really good team and just play 2 pool play games against
2 other good teams.
and then you're like, man, how come I couldn't have gotten this group to start? They give up 25 runs in 2 games. And it's like, well, who's to say the what ifs? But again, how do you go into pool play with that many teams? You're going to have to win a game if you want to get into the championship bracket. And that's what everybody wants to do. They want to play the best. They want to beat the best, or at least you should. And, that's kind of why I try to do some of the things that I do. And my pitchers didn't like doing it. So I wanted to do what the pitchers wanted to do and how they feel comfortable. And so we kind of changed up our routine a little bit. But I was going in there throwing, a guy one inning at a time to get through one game. And I was throwing some of the bigger arms to try to get us at least a win, to put us in consideration to be in the top part of that bracket. And so those guys didn't like it, though. They wanted to throw 40, 50, 60 pitches versus trying to throw 20 and then maybe 40, 50 the next day. Yeah. So I try to treat it like kind of like high school does. I have a 14U team, and so I want to prepare them for how high school standards are. Sure. I know Game 7 does things a little bit differently in their pitch counting or how their turn time on a pitcher. I try to stay true to what high school is because that's what these kids are going to do next year. Plus, I think the high school thing, it makes sense. Guy throws 20, 25 pitches, he can come back the next day. But if he throws 35, he's got to have a day rest.
Right.
So I kind of use that as my model. But again, teach their own with how they schedule for the weekend, right?
And, if you're not throwing a kid's arm off, and we understand these things, but I think that's it. And your point to that, Game 7 has their and any tournament director or any tournament company has their model for pitch counts and things of that nature. So you're going to deal with that regardless. I think I like the approach you're taking with the 14U squad for the simple fact that next year, look, guys, we want to go out here and continue to grow as baseball players because next year you're going to be playing freshman baseball for your high school. If you're pitching, this is what you're dealing with. And I think that mindset, that mentality puts them in position to hold to that thought process. So I think you have to look at those things.
I also think there's accountability too. I mean, you don't lose focus. You have to stay sharp. You have to stay locked in because if a kid wants to throw 3-4 innings to get the W, for the day, he's going to have to be efficient and effective. And so you can't go up there getting 3-2 counts all the time because you're not going to make it through 2 innings.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then I don't necessarily send my players right out there to play defense either.
And I think that goes to another narrative when you're talking about this. And we're looking at the 13U here, which was a brutal competition.
Oh man, there
was some serious teams in this 13U division. Starting with at pool play, just 4 teams at 2-0. Kentucky Prospects, Diamond Kings. And the Diamond Kings, out of Topeka, Kansas.
Wow, Nebraska, Kansas. They did well.
So if you're going down to Branson, you're seeing teams Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Missouri, and even some Illinois and Arkansas. So you're getting a taste of some regional aspects of teams that you're going to be and kids that you're facing as far as when you start the recruiting process. You're seeing kids at this 13U level that you're going to see in that PBR, in that realm of those things, and stuff you're competing against in some of these Division II, Division I schools. Even if they're, not Power 5 Division I schools, Little Rock, Arkansas, Springfield, Illinois, Wichita State, Missouri State, UMSL. I don't know much more about, I guess, Arkansas.
Well, Lindenwood's now D1, so
Lindenwood,
it's going to be a small scholar.
So you're dealing with that stuff.
The Roos, do the Roos have a baseball team, by the way?
I believe so.
That's UMKC.
Yeah.
For anybody
I'm
that
not
doesn't
sure.
know.
I know they have basketball.
What they had softball. Do they have baseball? They have baseball.
There you go. So
leave it up to the young guy.
Yeah, he knows. He's got it working. Perfect timing. Blue out of Arkansas. Barnstormer Aces out of Hampton, Illinois. Again, coming down. So those were the top teams. Arkansas, Kentucky, Nebraska, and Illinois.
That's a nice draw. And I mean, looking at that tournament obviously is brutal. But I think.
I'm sorry, Kansas. I'm sorry.
The whole thing about getting down there to Branson and having a chance to experience it, I'm gonna suggest that all of the youth teams get down there and check that out. I think the fields are pretty cool. The stands are really neat. It's convenient. They have cages indoors. It is a nice venue, and if you go early on before school lets out, the traffic is not terrible right now.
Yeah.
And then there's a ton of stuff for you guys to do down there, 11, 12, 13-year-olds that would love the area, go-karts and water parks and stuff like that. Of course, you got Silver Dollar City.
Areas, Columbia, the Warriors Baseball Club, they made it into that championship bracket. U.S. Nationals Prime, they won a game. They got to the semifinals. But perfect timing, and Kentucky Prospects made it to the championship game. But that Kentucky Prospects team was definitely head and shoulders above everybody else, really. They put up 13 runs in the semifinal and 16, respectively, in the championship game. They only allowed 5 runs. Diamond Kings allowed 7. Perfect Timing Blue 8. But yet, maybe there wasn't enough pitching. Again, this is what you kind of see. Perfect Timing Blue, maybe they just exhausted it, and that's what you see in those types of situations. So, I mean, the Midwest Mafia out of Illinois was in the silver bracket here. Marucci Capital, Oklahoma Lightning took the silver bracket championship down there over Marucci Capital 5-1. So it was a good game. So there's some really good baseball being played down there. I think you're getting a great impact in that place too from the regional level. It's in that central location there from Iowa to Nebraska to Kansas to Illinois to Arkansas to Oklahoma and Missouri. So you get that feel, and I think it's a really great venue down there.
Yeah, I just in general, the draws that Game 7 is having right now, it's nice to see. They're being ran correctly. They have good umpires. They get good venues. It is exciting to be a part of playing in this in Game 7 for our group. And I think we fit there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I don't think that any weekend it's going to turn into I register as a AA team. I see the schedule come out. It turns to an open team so they can have 3 or 4 more teams jump in there last minute. Those are things that are always frustrating when you go into a tournament, because again, it might change you from if you get those top 2 teams, you might end up down here in a consolation bracket or whatever you like to call it, and it could be a little frustrating for the boys. The parents obviously see that and they get frustrated, but for me as a coach, it's my job to get them prepared to play no matter who we play.
Yeah.
So it's just I like what Game 7 is doing right now. I see this weekend they have 6 events that they got scheduled again across the Midwest area, and it's loaded. It's got a ton of teams. They're selling out. Yeah. I know that we're not there yet, but
I want to do this real quick because St. Jen down there, the guys running the River Dogs, they put on the Rivertown tournaments down there, and I want to go through these real quick because there was some good baseball down there. Brace Rawlings Tigers 9U and St. Louis Clutch Baseball played in the championship game 6-4. Ball game, 9U, championship game. That was really good. 10U.
Was that Carricker's Clutch group?
Cranawetter?
It was Cranawetter's.
I believe it was. I'll look.
I thought Cranawetter was in Kansas City this past weekend.
This is Corey Carricker. That's his squad. Yeah, that's out of Eureka, Missouri. Yeah, I believe that's the St. Louis Clutch. Corey Carricker, I believe that's part of that 9U major. 6-4, good ball game. 10U, O'Fallon Bombers, 11-10 over St. Louis Clutch, Spielberg. So they were down there in force. Another good one right there. And the semifinal, Missouri Bulls gave the Clutch all they wanted in the semifinal. 10-0 Bombers take that. O'Fallon Bombers got a good program over in Illinois.
I was going to say, that's O'Fallon, Illinois?
Yeah. So we got to keep an eye on that there. In the 11U, the Mineral Area Wolfpack win the championship over the St. Jen, the host River Dogs, 10-3. 12U, you've got the Diamond Stars losing to the St. Louis Naturals 8-7. Again, another good, solid ball game. Both semifinals were close in that one. Diamond Stars beating the Adidas Athletics White, and the Adidas Athletics losing to the St. Louis Naturals 11-6 in the semifinals. So good games there. 13U, you had Academy Phillies losing to this Southeast Missouri Tropics 12-4. Southeast Missouri Tropics. That's got a good feel.
It does. They actually have that Tropics team has an adult team that is playing in the Montclair League.
Oh, very good.
This year. So it's an interesting color scheme.
Yeah. I bet. And the 14U to finish this out, the St. John River Dogs 8-0 over the St. Louis Naturals. So that was a really solid tournament down there. 42 teams, great age brackets. And so good baseball. Game 7 tournament wrap-up show.
There's a lot of baseball. There is a lot of baseball happening right now and everywhere. The only thing I got to say before we cut this show off is make sure that as coaches, parents, that we do a really good job of staying in our lines and our dugout and stay focused on your team versus things that are going outside of your control. I know that emotions fly high in this sport, but unfortunately the internet is showing us a whole lot of black eyes right now with how we treat our umpires, how we're treating other coaches, how we're treating other kids. And these are adults treating 9, 10, 11 you kids, saying disrespectful stuff and creating those emotions. So if we can just stay focused on your child and your team and stay between the lines in the dugout, I think we continue to grow baseball in the right way. I just getting frustrated with seeing too many coaches, getting tossed out because they want to argue so many safe and out calls, and the way they go about their business is just not it's just not good for our sport. And so I just want to see better sportsmanship all around in general, from the dugouts, from the stands, and from the coaches. And I believe the coaches and directors of those organizations need to put their kind of foot down on some of these parents and the way the parents and kids and their coaches handle themselves.
Umpires, be professional in how you handle yourself. If you got to toss a coach, you have to. I understand these things. Everybody needs to work together. Everybody needs to work together, and ditto.
Yeah, this is about our youth, and if your ego is that big that you have to fight, you're in this for the wrong reasons. I understand that there's a time frame that you stick up for your kids when something doesn't go their way, and you just want to get out there and get into an umpire a little bit, just to try to get your team hyped up. But stay away from the other coaching staff. Keep your ears out of the stands if they're chirping you. I want to make one point to this, and I've heard this, and I've heard this, and I've heard it. I've heard it at the high school level. It makes me tired, and I'm putting it that way. I hear coaches and parents chirp from the dugout. That's 3 blue. You cost us. You cost us that run. You cost us the game. No, your 4 errors and the overthrows and the 10 walks your pitchers gave up probably cost you more than a call from an umpire. Let's remember that. These are kids playing this game. Go watch a minor league game. Go watch a college game and watch how many errors happen in those games as well. They happen.
Defense and throwing strikes is a difficult thing, folks. It's not one call that cost a game. It's not one this or one that. Remember, these are kids learning how to play the game, and the umpires make mistakes in those things as well. Remember, there's all kinds of mistakes happening. Bad coach. Why did the coach send the kid when he shouldn't have? It happens. These are things that happen. Let's not blame people. Let's focus on helping our kids learn how to deal with certain adversities sometimes, and let's all encourage one another to get better.
Yeah, those are coaching moments, man. I love them, and I know that we've ended the show like this a few times now, but you're continuing to see it every single weekend. There's a problem on the ball field because of adults, and yeah. We have to do better. We just have to do better, because our kids are not going to want to grow up and seeing a bunch of grown men argue over who's testosterone, who has more of it, and it's just not necessary. There's a place for that, and you can do that in a dark alley somewhere if you need to. Well, if it gets to that level,
let's not go there.
But let's make sure that this is right for the kids. Stay professional and use coaching moments for these guys. I'm just sick of watching fights happen and umpires getting punched and parents coming from the stands.
And parents fighting each other. It's ridiculous.
It's not needed.
Silly.
Let them fight between the lines.
It's a
And
good
I don't
thing
mean
we-
fist fighting.
It's a good thing now those views are not necessarily those of our sponsors and the
sorry,
folks
I
at Game
forgot-
7
I forgot
Baseball.
we were still
I'm
on
going to
the
do that.
wrap-up.
That's okay. I tell
Sorry,
that for
Dave and Dave.
That's Youth Baseball Midwest. That's what we're here to do. We do put those things into, and Dave know that. And I would never say this is coming from them or anything like. These are our viewpoints.
Yeah, they do a good job of managing these umpires and stuff like that. So they that's what got me on this was
I know
how good of a job
I
that
just
they
always
do.
like to say that just in case
Yeah.
for people to.
Yeah, sorry, Dave.
Well, what is Game 7? No. We're talking here.
This ain't even the view of
for
my
my-
business either. I mean, this is literally how I feel personally about this stuff.
Exactly. And we can have those things. We can say what we want to.
Yeah, well, I am.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what
Thanks
you
for
hired me
joining us, folks. Comment below on anything that you want to say there. We appreciate you viewing. Subscribe, like, share it out with your friends. We do appreciate it. Leave us a comment. That helps. Till next week, we're wrapping up here. We will see you again then. Till then, all you pitchers, keep throwing strikes, and you hitters,
Hit 'em where they ain't.
dingers and doubles.
Doubles and dingers.
Same thing. Just the opposite.
That's how you look at it.
Everybody have a great day in the Lord. We'll see you next time.